It's really is a secret weapon, and I think a lot of people overlook it and think because information is available out there.
I think challenges are inevitable, but how did you learn to manage these challenges that you were coming up against when you first started your dropshipping business?
Well, once I realized that I didn't know what I didn't know, and I hit a few of those early, what felt like brick walls, but looking back were just obstacles that became lessons, I realized I need to make sure I'm vocal about asking for help. So I wasn't afraid to ask for help after that point. I was humble enough to say, I don't have all the answers here. And reaching out to mentors, it saved me from many, many mistakes along the way. I looked for advice, I read books, I looked for experienced entrepreneurs in this area and tried to glean as many insights as I could from it by joining forums, joining communities, joining courses. And it just allowed me to kind of piece together other people's experiences and avoid a lot of the common pitfalls that other people have made, try and learn from their lessons first, rather than having to learn through your own trial and error, which can become extremely frustrating, expensive, time consuming. And so I think, for me, it was probably investing in courses and programs that gave me a structured path, because it told me like, hey, here's the route to follow, and that alone is a game changer. So that's why we do that very, very clearly inside Dropship Unlocked. But also it held me accountable. It was something that I probably underestimated, but when you pay for something, they say people who pay attention. And certainly when I'd invested in myself, I thought, well, I've done this. I've paid this coach. I've joined a program. I've invested in myself. I now want to make sure I get an ROI out of that. And that actually is a secret hack, because suddenly you're so much more open to absorbing the information from within there. It's like having a coach when you're learning a new sport. If you're learning to play tennis or golf or something, and you have a lesson and there's a coach waiting for you there, you're going to show up, you're going to give it your all. You're thinking, well, I'm paying for their time here. I better absorb everything they're saying like a sponge. And so, of course, there will still be setbacks. I, for example, a lot of my mentors weren't in the UK, and I realized I need to speak with people in the UK to make this work. And a lot of those expensive trial and error lessons that I had, those early setbacks, were because of a model that was very popular and established in the USA, not being quite easily translated over to the UK and done in exactly the same way. We've obviously figured out that approach now, and we can guide you through exactly how to do that. But I think most successful entrepreneurs will tell you that their early failures, the bits that they got stuck on that seemed at the time like those brick walls, were crucial to their success story overall. So I think the takeaway here is to seek out mentorship, try and become part of a community. It's why we've put together the resources inside Dropship Unlocked, done it to save our members time and money and just help them grow faster overall. We obviously offer access to experienced mentors. We've got a supportive community that helps guide our members. It holds them accountable through every single step of their journey. So we tried to create that environment that I wish had existed when I got started in the UK.
There's no doubt that you've built it in your own image in terms of what you needed when you first got started, and all of that heartbreak would have been saved. And obviously I found it at a great time, but I still went through that initial heartbreak and the initial failures before realizing that getting around people was so crucial. I like the sport analogies. I think business is like a sport where you get good, you rise in levels and you get better, and you take on larger challenges as you get better, and you rise up the ranks or the leagues or the levels. Like sport. And when I started tennis, I had a few lessons, but before you start tennis lessons, you are just okay. You can get the ball over the net, but it's very high over the net. You can't really control it. You hit it into the net a few times, and then you have one or two lessons with the teacher, and they show you the correct technique, and suddenly you're so much more effective, and you can rise up the levels. And it's also like with swimming. Okay, I haven't had lessons with swimming, right? That's why I'm getting lapped by people that are 40 or 50 years older than me in the pool at the gym, because I haven't got the technique. I've got all the energy and enthusiasm in the world, but I know that if I had a few lessons and learned the technique, you can be so much more effective and efficient. And that's similar to how it is with business. You need a few tweaks, people to be around you, giving you the right advice in terms of the technique that you need to apply, and suddenly you'll be so much more effective in business as well. So loads of great advice, Lewis. And speaking about not doing it alone, you mentioned community as a real great source of how you can get around people that will be able to help you. And how important do you think that community really is?
Yeah, being part of a community, it just gives you access to such a wealth of knowledge and experience, especially if it's a really focused community that is based around the exact model and the business type that you want to strive to achieve. So yeah, I found connecting with other entrepreneurs definitely sped up my learning and it kept me motivated. Also, accountability groups within communities are great as well, because you can kind of share your goals with other people and have them hold you accountable, and then you hold them accountable for certain goals. So that can be a really positive aspect of communities. And then I think when times get tough as well, having a support network there, certainly for me, was crucial during tough times, because you need that moral support as well as the strategic support. And, like, oh, which email platform should I use? Which landing page how design should I use? You also need that, like, I'm finding it really tough at the moment. Like, how do you guys get through it when it feels like that? So I think for me, because these networks and support communities weren't in the UK, it was really good and it was really helpful. But I just thought, imagine if they were in the market that I was in, because people outside the UK just often don't understand our specific market conditions. They don't have to deal with the same supplier questions, the terminology, the legalities, the distance selling regulations, GDPR stuff, VAT. It's like, it just feels like a different world at times. And so it's just key to get around other people who are in as similar a position as you as possible, striving for the same things, so that you can learn from them and they can learn from you. It's this great effect that happens in communities. And as well, for me, networking led to many partnerships and many opportunities looking back now that I definitely wouldn't have found on my own. Many times, and I can just think of several times right now where I've invested in myself in like a coaching program or a mastermind or working with a coach. And because of that, I've ended up meeting someone that then has gone on to transform a huge part of my business, whether it's like an agency that I've partnered with, or people that I have ended up working with, or just these amazing partnerships that happen. And there's something about, I think, when you invest in yourself, you kind of take it seriously, and it opens up another aspect of your brain, your vision for opportunities, because you're in there, you're looking, you're hungry, you're open to it. And so being open to seeing those connections and opportunities is key, because they're there, but sometimes unless we're invested in the thing we're doing, we're not really paying attention. So it's kind of, but when you join one of these communities, you join a program that guides you through step by step the path for the business that you're trying to create. It's like someone's given you a map, but with the marked path on it, so you know exactly where to go. It's not like a map to the whole of e-commerce. It's like, here's e-commerce, and here's the bit you need to follow to get up and running as quickly as possible. And the bit to remember is that you're not the first person to be walking that path. Other people have been there before you. They can guide you through the tricky parts. And so regularly engaging in that community discussion, attending meetups in person, great thing to do as well. Really like take that online connection to the next level and really like get to know those people in person. It can be such a fantastic addition, and it's a big reason why we include that as part of the Dropship Unlocked Masterclass. Like, we know that can accelerate your growth. It can help you navigate challenges more effectively. And when you join, you become part of that thriving community of entrepreneurs who do meet up in person and who can provide you with the support and insights that you need to succeed. So it really is a secret weapon. And I think a lot of people overlook it and think because information is available out there, that's all they need. They forget all about the support network, the accountability, the motivation, the live meetups, and all of that stuff is a huge disadvantage to them if they don't go through a community route.
It really is. And I think there's two things you get out of a community. The first one is the tactical support that we're always thinking about, because that's what we think we need initially. We just need to be told, okay, what theme should I use? What product should I sell? What ad campaign should I create? You get that from communities. But secondly, which I think is underestimated until you realize you need it, is the emotional support and being somebody, a shoulder to lean on when things are difficult. And when you're perhaps lacking some motivation, you can ask people, okay, how did you get through these same feelings? I think there's a combination of both that makes it so powerful. And we get all of these insights. But the biggest thing for me as well, it just makes it a lot more enjoyable. And when we enjoy something, we're so much more likely to stay with the course and to stay with the process, because you're enjoying every day as you do it. And when you've got people around you people supporting you, having fun with people at live in-person events, you're so much more likely to continue on that path. And ultimately, that's where you get the biggest returns, is when you stay working on something for the long run. There was also a post recently in the masterclass, Lewis, that really highlights this point about community and how much time and effort it saves. I was answering a question from Peter, who's in the masterclass, and he was mentioning a common problem, which is trying to get Shopify to talk with Klaviyo, trying to get accounts to talk to each other. And he asked one simple question in the community. He got one simple answer, and from that, he saved hours of going down the rabbit hole of help articles, which is where you get pushed when you need to find things out from the company themselves. So instead of hours, it's 5 minutes to ask the question to somebody that's been through the exact same thing. And that's great in one instance. But think about if you do that multiple times every week, the hours that you save, the headspace that you save to really scale a business, because those challenges and difficult things are made so much more easy. It really compounds to be a huge, huge difference, and certainly the biggest part of my journey. And now everything that I do, all the career that I've got going now with my e-commerce stores and Dropship Unlocked, they've all come about from the connections that I've created. The first store was built through Dropship Unlocked, that program. The work with Dropship Unlocked with you, Lewis, has come from our connection and the mastermind that we joined together, and how we've been able to create this partnership. And then my second store is a partnership that I found through the Dropship Unlocked community. So everything comes from people around me, community, and all the doors that has opened up for me has been really, really special for me in my life.